Hey everyone, welcome back to the organization series. I'm Michael Carlins, and in today's video I will be talking about home offices. This series is of course designed for people who feel like they have run out of space in their house. However, it's just not the right time to move into a larger home. Let's see what we can do to reorganize the things in the house to make it feel comfortable and livable. First things first though, if you could do me a huge favor and go ahead and like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. So let's start with the main fixture in a home office, which is the desk space. So first you need to evaluate what your needs are and what space you actually have physically to fit a desk in. Now, if you're spending a lot of time at your computer, you're probably going to want to have multiple monitors. I typically use 2, though I do have seen people who use 3 monitors just so they can have, save stuff on one screen and kind of be working and stuff on 2 screens. There are very affordable options to kind of elevate the monitors to get them up off the desk so that you have more space for papers, pens, miscellaneous things, whatever you happen to be working on. Another thing to look at is a desk riser. So my assistant uses a desk riser, which this gives you the ability to sit or make it into a standing desk. But even if you don't use it as a standing desk, it still elevates the monitor, has a separate place for the mouse and the keyboard. So it also saves space on the desk itself, so you can have sort of a multi-level system of having things. So even if the footprint of your desk isn't large, you can still utilize all the space on it. Now the next thing to consider is cable management. All those wires and everything's running between the monitors and the computer, possibly the keyboard and the mouse. I've tried doing the wireless keyboards, and I generally use a wireless mouse, and that seems to work reasonably well. Neither one works as well though as the actual wired one. So after using a wireless keyboard for a while, I've gone back to the wired keyboard just because the wireless keyboard seems to kind of have a boot up, and it could be just I bought a cheaper one, but I've used a couple of them and they just don't seem to have the same reaction as the actual connected keyboard. But a lot of wires, with the internet and everything, so having a good cable management system could just make it feel better and keep the wires sort of off you. Cable holders, even little zip ties can work, but just taking the time to organize all those wires in a way that makes logical sense and makes visual sense to you. Now for desk organization, it is very possible that you are going to be doing multiple things. That while you may be using the space during the day for a home office, maybe you're jumping out there to do other things in the evening, whether maybe you like to do crafts, something like that. So organizing your desk space in such a way that everything is neat, clean, and accessible is important. And even if it is strictly being utilized for business, you still want to have some pens, some paper, and having a pencil holder or pen holder to separate that out, stuff for notebooks, stuff for scissors, whatever it is that you may need on hand, and having a place for all of that. So buying just small organizational items to be able to set up your environment so that everything is in its place and neat and organized. And again, just gives you that when you walk in there to start work in the morning, it's just a good feeling because it is neat and clean and organized. And I can tell you it's a struggle. It has to become a habit of every day before you get up from the desk, setting everything back into its place, because otherwise you kind of fall out of that habit and then the chaos takes over. Making a space you can work in also requires you put some personality into it. Some people like to showcase a collection of something they enjoy, or create a personal library in their office. And sometimes you just have to get smart about how you showcase those items without letting them clutter your space. So floating shelves and cabinets can immensely help keep items off the floor or desk, and you can customize them very easily. If you have a large book collection, consider narrow bookshelves that are taller rather than wider to give you more space for other furniture you like. And there you have it, folks. Setting up a productive home office in a small space doesn't have to be a challenge. With a bit of creativity and strategic planning, you can create a workspace that inspires productivity. If you find these tips helpful, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. As always, feel free to comment if you've tried any of these yourself. We'll see you next time.